All right, my friends, we are doing something very different for us today, but you've clicked on this thumbnail, so you already know that. And we've said that we are exploring all of our seafaring options, and we were not kidding. And that is because there are just too many paths and directions we could take right now. We're trying to narrow it down. But one of those directions would be an Alaska to Patagonia adventure. And for that, we are going to need a very sturdy and stout vessel. So that is what we are exploring. And for the inside passage and fjords and so many of these little places that we would be going if we go that direction, well, you're gonna do a lot of motoring. So we need to investigate a motor yacht. And well, if we're gonna go look at motor yachts, we wanna go with somebody experienced, and I can't think of anybody better than our very good friends, Rico and Victoria of Naughty Styles, because they spend a lot of time touring a lot of different vessels.
Rico and Victoria sent us a huge list of boats that we should consider that are kind of in this general zone, and they picked one that they thought we would really like to see, which we just toured on their channel. So if you want to watch that, you can click over to their channel. I'll put a link down in the description. And then we chose this boat because it is so unique. It looks very cool. And this week you're getting double the Wynns and double the Naughty. So let's dive in to this real ship.
All right, when Jason said this real ship, he was not kidding. The manufacturer is quite literally called Real Ship. Yeah, cracks me up. It's a funny name, but I kind of dig it. But I am not going to give you the spiel because that's what I have the pros here for. So Rico, put on your broker's hat. Is that your broker's hat? Well,
oh no, it's a hat.
Yeah, it's a hat.
It's a hat.
All right, give us the quick setup of the vessel.
Welcome aboard, 1997, real ship, for real, 61 Islander.
So full steel construction, full displacement, lots of volume, huge beam.
It's super voluminous because of the shape of it. So yeah, you're gonna see it in the interior. I cannot wait to show you this one. You asked us for character. This one's got a lot of it.
Yes.
Our criteria was we need under $1 million, please. Preferably around half if we could keep it there, but that's difficult in this sort of size and volume and what we're looking to do with it. And of course, character, because we were like, we don't know anything, but we want a cool looking boat, maybe something vintage. I love old tugboats, kind of that like classic vintagey vibes. Anyway, this one totally ticks those boxes, that's for sure. So we'll find out how realistic I guess it is once we get through with the tour. But yeah, all right, so where should we
aboard.
start?
It's a very, very unique layout. The GA is very different than any other boats actually we have been on. So let's just step up here.
I like that for the people that literally do this for a living, are like, this is a very unique vessel for us.
Well, we're telling Rico to put on his broker hat. Literally, Rico and Victoria have a brokerage, so it's legit.
Difference between the last one to this one, it's a steel hull. As you guys can see, we have the stringers here. You see the weld points. It's metal, full metal, top to bottom.
Why do the guys like doing this? It's like a guy thing.
It is?
I don't know why you guys like to do
I don't
it
know,
so
that's
much.
what guys do. They're like, they
having
knock
fun
on
hearing
things.
the sound. It's like mufflers or anything else.
Yes, it's strong. You know, I don't know.
So you guys did your intro if you actually mentioned that the boat was sitting on the ground?
No, we didn't.
Okay, this is a big one because I think for us it's the first tour that we've ever toured a boat that is sitting on the ground.
100%. Unless it was on dry, which is a whole different scenario. But for us, it brought us, you know, it reminded us a lot of our boat rebuilding. We're rebuilding a steel aluminum construction actually, but there are lots of similarities. The boat is full steel hull, has skags, which means where the props come out, it's actually completely protected by a skag, which extends past the prop and then attaches the rudder to the hull. So the props are fully protected, so you can actually sit on the ground. So if you're in the
So you can beach your boat,
basically.
You can technically, well, I don't know if you want to beach it because it would be hard to get it back off, but except when we wait for high tide. But you could in the Bahamas, for example, if you have just a little bit left at high tide and it goes to low tide, no problem. Another cool thing we're going to show you later, you actually can sit on the ground and you're not having any issues with water getting into the boat. For your air conditioning, etc., we show that later on.
Another very unique feature of this vessel.
Should we go around this way because there's another side door there we can actually get in?
Like, I just want to point out, like, this is a 60-foot?
61.
61.
21-foot beam.
Yeah. It feels way bigger than that to me. Like walking up to it, it has this big presence. seeing it from a distance, it has such a presence. And then looking at, like, these are like full-on dock storage boxes. And it's huge. Like, that is just, I mean, this is only one of, we haven't even gone inside yet, and this is already the storage. Like, it's kind of crazy to me.
It's pretty funny having Nikki as perspective.
I know, right?
But that's,
box.
I mean, it's big. This whole thing is so big.
Hey, quick question. What was the beam of your previous boat?
25-ish?
Yeah.
This is 21 feet. It's a monohull.
Yeah.
You gotta put that in perspective. It's pretty crazy, actually.
Yeah.
All right.
Welcome to the Galley. I know it looks like a regular residential kitchen in here, one of the reasons I liked this boat, but this is indeed a galley. So we are going to rein in Rico and Victoria. This is not a Naughty Styles open every cabinet tour. It's going to be okay.
You're saying it cannot open anything?
You can open some. You can open some.
Gotta go now.
We lost
I've
Victoria.
already been like chastised over my past boat reviews for not opening enough cabinets. They're like, Victoria would be so disappointed in you. She is, don't worry. I have gotten it already. So we are going to do the Wynns 2-cent tour, give ourselves an idea of the layout and some of the features, and then we're going to get into the nitty gritty of how realistic is or isn't this for us for this adventure that we have in mind. So where should we start?
I think we start with the biggest galley you're gonna get on a 60-foot vessel. Like, this is massive.
The four of us could be very easily preparing a
Feast.
10-person meal.
Yeah.
Thanksgiving dinner.
Very
I mean,
easy.
this isn't. Look at the size of the. I mean, okay. I'm just kidding. I mean, it is mind blowing.
At least open the fridge. I mean,
It's a residential fridge. It's a residential stove. It is a residential trash compactor. And Victoria can't stand
full-size
herself.
dishwasher.
and on this channel as well, I would like to get a full credit for making sure that Jason had a dishwasher on the last boat.
Team dishwasher.
Still a thing.
Still a thing.
Okay.
Well,
Yeah.
there's another next boat now, so
I know.
it's still a thing.
And the last boat did not have a dishwasher, but they were already scheming and plotting as to where it could be installed whenever we were looking at that one. So, you know, the differences.
Pay attention to how solid the boat feels, because I think it's one thing about steel vessels. If they're properly built out on the interior, you don't hear any squeaking, you don't feel any soft spots, which you sometimes have on production boats. So it's kind of, just try to pay attention while you're walking through the boat.
I feel like
See
you're
how it feels.
walking through a house when you're on this boat.
Yeah.
All I can think about is burning fuel, so I'm going to push them really hard about hybrids, about crazy props that are way more efficient, and kites, because why not? And, one other thing that's really interesting about this boat is it is all built in the USA, in Alabama and I believe North Carolina. It's literally one of a kind, they said.
So welcome to the living room. Can you even call this a salon? I mean, I don't even know.
I think so.
Are we on a boat still?
Well, welcome to the motor yacht, the dark side. You do have a really nice size salons. And so this, I mean, obviously all like loose furniture. You can do anything you want here. You can take it all out. You can completely replace it to something that, fits your style, which I feel like, that would something you would do. Same thing here. It's all really what you like. You can make it your own.
I feel like there's still plenty of windows everywhere. So the only thing that's really closed off is this side, but it's not exactly closed off. I mean, there's a gigantic aquarium right here.
Massive TV.
I mean, but it's just a little hard to get over. It feels very much like a super yacht versus like what I had in my head of what we're used to for space-wise. I mean, what do you here? Give me this.
Look, you also have openable windows on both sides.
There.
1, 2, 3, 4.
Yeah,
The back, and
you
then
can-
obviously you can do cross breeze from this deck where the galley is. Open the doors there, but then you still have the doors up and the pilot house. You can open as well.
Yeah,
Plenty
so
of
could do a
headroom.
lot. Yeah, it's good headroom. So I would say like 6, 7.
How do you feel about this?
I definitely feel like anything seems replaceable. So if you're not in love with something, then you can definitely put up some sort of mid-century modern type furniture and make it your own, like, cool, chic spot.
And you don't have to buy marine anything.
I don't have to knock out a bunch of fiberglass. We've been so stuck in the sailboat world because everything's molded into the boat, so you can't just replace a sofa or cabinets. Here it's really easy to, so I think that's definitely a plus.
And I know you guys have imagination because you've been in the boating world for quite some time now. Been on boats, lived on boats, designed or helped design a boat and build a new boat and so on. This is all very bulky furniture, right? Just imagine how big this space is if you take that out.
Yeah, that's true.
It's incredible. Like honestly, we have toured a lot of boats in this range. This is the largest boat by volume we have been on this length.
Here you almost full beam right here. You still have side
You do have
walkways.
sidewalks, yeah.
Okay,
Okay, let's keep moving.
I'm gonna go outside because this looks like the spot I would want to hang out. 'Cause
Let's
it's
go.
covered.
Oh, okay.
It's got a nice view.
I love the doors.
So you asked for nostalgic,
Yeah, I like the round.
and
what
I
is it
think
called?
this is nostalgic. So this is your Rico. What there was a name for this. What was the name for this?
Second floor is what I would call it.
Technically, it's an aft upper cockpit.
Technically, it's a fantail.
It is a fantail shape, and it's also an aft cabin motor yacht.
Correct. Yeah, but the fantail is what it's called on the classic yachts.
Yes.
And this one has one of these. So I felt like it checked off that box of nostalgia.
I think
Yeah.
everybody watching right now has a little bit understanding of motor yachts. Is going to be, what do you mean upper aft cockpit? Yes, there's a lower aft cockpit. Weird. We gotta see it to
Yeah.
understand.
'Cause this is the real ship, baby.
Exactly.
I think this would be a great spot for halibut fishing because you stand off the side.
That's
you
very
drop the lure,
specific.
because you
Halibut.
just drop the fishing line like this and you knock on the ground and you catch halibut. And
Who
we're in
are
Alaska.
you?
It's
I don't
amazing.
know.
They open the door and then they come. Who knocked?
That's the back patio. Now we're going to the front yard.
Very, very safe walkway here.
Very safe. I was just about to say exactly the same thing.
We have an entrance to the pilot house right here on both sides. And once again, Portuguese bridge. This is almost a Portuguese deck.
Okay, but you're saying again, we certainly still don't know, not even from the last tour, and I'm pretty sure somebody in the audience knows, but a lot of us are not going to. Why is it called a Portuguese bridge? Looks like a wall or like a deck or something, I don't know, but bridge doesn't make sense to me, and why Portuguese? Like, what's the story?
I would tell you, but I think it'd be a lot more fun if one of you guys put in the comments and educate everybody and tell them why it's called Portuguese bridge. There's definitely a very interesting history
She
to
just
that.
didn't want to have to go get her phone and go chat GPT.
I know why.
She knows. She knows.
Hey, I knew Fantail.
Comments,
Okay?
yeah.
Fantail.
But this kind of reminds me of like that old school yacht feel. Like, I don't know, I keep going to like this like Great Gatsby sort of vibes and thinking about.
What kind of parties you can throw on this boat?
Yeah,
huh?
I mean, honestly, I'm thinking about how many people I can take on an adventure, and that like we can like really go explore and do some cool stuff. But I'm thinking about like whale watching and seeing all the wildlife and beautiful views, and I'm like, it's
Any anchorage you're gonna come into with this boat, you're gonna turn heads, guaranteed. This has that unique profile that you will it's so hard to find a boat that has like it's just so much, like it's crazy.
It'll
Yeah.
be hard for you guys to blend in.
Yeah, like
Yeah.
people will know immediately it's you.
yeah.
I mean,
There's
look,
no
if
denying
you
this
look
boat.
down here, doesn't it look like a big commercial vessel right now we're
That's
standing on?
what I think. Yeah, I'm like, this is like a big ship, like big explorer ship.
Yeah, that you could be on a 95 footer right now.
Yes.
The way this feels for me.
Yeah, that's what it is. It feels like a massive yacht, and it's hard to think that it's 60 foot. Like, I've been on 60 foot catamarans. Like, we did the 60 foot Exquisite, and while that still felt very large, this feels
Next level.
next level.
It has
yeah.
it has a ship feel.
Ship feel.
Not
You
a
got
boat
it.
feel.
Not a
Oh,
boat.
would you
Not
call
a
it a
yacht.
real
Well,
ship?
A
It
real
feels
ship
like a
feel.
real ship.
Into the pilot house we go. This is a big space. This is like a whole nother room for sure. I love the compass here. It's actually kind of a cool detail. Oh, what's this about?
I think these are calibration thingies.
Thingies?
I learned about this in captain school, and I forgot about this after captain school.
There are really interesting big balls next to the compass here. I'm sure they do something to help calibrate it. Looks like
Two of them.
Electronic throttle, so shift and throttle, it's both combined. If it would be mechanical controls, you would have two.
Oh,
You would
okay.
have one separate for the throttle and one separate for the shifter.
Station selector. So this is just for the bow thruster.
Yes,
And what kind of bow thrusters are on this thing?
hydraulic.
Okay, hydraulic.
bow thrusters are not electric.
Is that a good thing?
And forward and back? Like,
I prefer that, and like now even on super yachts, the industry now goes a little bit back to not fully, but some boats are incorporating electric again, but then directly high voltage. So you go actually directly off the generators and high voltage thrusters, which are still pretty powerful. On smaller vessels, I personally prefer hydraulic thrusters, so they don't get too hot and they're not getting tired, so you're not relying on batteries. You have the power takeoffs on the main engines or the generator, depending on what the setup is, and you can stay on them for quite some time. They're full thrust power, they don't lose the power from the batteries.
Okay, that's
So for me, peace of mind.
cool. Okay.
I mean, this steering wheel does not look like the one we had on
No.
the previous boat.
The steering wheel on the other boat today was definitely way cool. Fully wood, looked old school.
It did the nostalgia box was checked off.
But
What's
this
what?
has a feature which the other one didn't have.
What's that?
This.
Ah, your favorite.
This
That-
is very commercial.
Well, it looks like a mount that you would use for a camera, so I'm clueless.
That's your pre-select for the rudder. So let's say you're going down a river and
Okay.
you're going around the bend, so you say, okay, there's a little bit of a left turn. Instead of you turning the wheel, you just do this. Just put the rudder over and it stays where it is. And then when you're going to go back, you just go this, but this goes back to the neutral position.
So you're video gaming. That's what
Kind
you're,
of.
You're
Big
gaming.
boat feature though.
Yeah, big boat feature. Big
Okay.
boat feature. You have it a lot on commercial vessels.
And why is this better than this?
I mean, it's not bad, it's just cool to have.
Okay.
This is how he sells boats.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah.
just cool to
It's
have.
just cool to have. This is a high-low Helm chair, so you can actually put it a lot higher, and then you really have
Oh.
the full-blown view. There's a lot of more headspace here, no problem at all.
And I gotta say, because it's got the little footstool, this is actually really comfortable to sit in. So even if I did go up a lot higher, this is a very me-sized chair. It would be very comfortable. You're not like feet dangling up here. So
Even if the boat
cushion-
moves, you have a pretty good hold.
Yeah,
in
you're
there.
nice sturdy
Yeah.
in the chair. You got crazy seas.
Another cool thing, since it is a steel boat, it's a heavy boat. We have a pretty high profile, so center of gravity is probably higher than on some of the other boats we will look at. It has a stabilizer, hydraulic fins. Here's a control for that, so that will help you a lot in terms of rolling movement.
When you're out in bigger seas, a lot of wave,
Yeah.
a lot of movement. I would be very interested to see how this boat would actually handle in a seaway. It's hard for me to imagine coming from where we come from, which is where we're always trying to stay lower center of gravity. You know, you're balancing sails. So this would be a very different world. And whether I would like it or not, I don't know. There's only
But
one
you
way to figure it
definitely have insane visibility here. I mean,
Oh,
this
yeah.
is like well watching dream
out. Yeah.
spot.
Definitely good for that. So I see that this has got Caterpillar engines.
Correct.
How do you feel about that? Is that good?
Great. Caterpillars are pretty bulletproof, or known to be bulletproof as a manufacturer. And what I really like about these engines, that they're again producing a low amount of horsepower for the size of the engine. So they're only 250 horsepower each. So total horsepower on this boat is only 500 horsepower.
Only 500 horsepower. We have never had anything more than 40.
Upgraded electronics. They look maybe 2 years old.
Yeah, those are nice. Two of them.
And they're also upgraded the autopilot, because I can see the Garmin, so they must have upgraded the whole autopilot system to accomplish that. The VHF radio right here, that's also pretty convenient having it right next to you, even if you're
Of
just
course,
by
yeah, you
yourself
want
up
that
here.
at the helm. I feel like it's also really big. There's like drawers everywhere.
Lots
it's
of space.
Huge. You've
So
got
behind you,
Yeah.
there's a really nice home
Yeah,
office.
let's keep moving, guys. It's dinner time. We're gonna hurry this up so we can actually talk about the real ship. About the real ship.
So, really good size home office right here.
Yeah.
It's a really nice desk, I think, for you guys.
I love being able to like sit here, work, and have such a fabulous view, but not be so close to the windows to where you're just like baking in the sun.
Yeah.
So it is actually, this is a really nice spot.
Yeah, and you can tell that they have something to actually put some mesh in these windows, so that's something you look for, you know, when you're yacht shopping, because that just shows that
sun.
the good ownership.
Yeah.
You know, if somebody is protecting the electronics.
Yeah. No, and yourself. Like when you're up here, it's nice to kind of knock it down just a little bit. So,
Yeah.
I mean, we look for that in sailboats too, same. So
Right.
I think that's good.
Another thing which is pretty cool in this boat, because of the height, no matter where you are, which anchorage or marina you're sitting in, you're most likely, when you're sitting here, you're above your neighbors. It's
So
kind
you
of cool.
get the privacy of the space of the pilot house, and then this is a good time for us to pop out and check out the what are we calling this? The upper deck, sun deck.
upper decker.
There are a lot of decks on this
There's
boat.
a lot of decks.
So
I'm
many
gonna say
decks.
sun deck.
Sun deck. Let's call it the sun deck.
Technically, it's a boat deck. Okay, this is another unique feature of this yacht, okay? The elephant in the room, or shall we say on the sun deck or on the boat deck. This is a first for us. We've never seen one before on board of a yacht.
Me either.
Right,
First
that's
for
a
all of
first.
us.
But you have those similar setups a lot on commercial vessels. Inland waterway vessels have it a lot too. Commercial vessels have it a lot. It's a domestic style air conditioning. It's a 3-ton unit, so you don't need any seawater at all to cool your boat, which comes in pretty handy for many, many different reasons. One of them is if you leave your boat, for example, for extended period of times, and you don't want to have sea cocks open, you don't want to have sea strainers being used and potentially plugging up with barnacles, with stuff floating around and shutting your whole system down. This is peace of mind for sure. For that reason, I think it's really cool. I don't know if I want it for myself.
Could it be an eyesore? Sure. Is it practical? Certainly. So it just really depends how you use the boat. I'm sure a lot of the avid boaters on your channel were like, well, how is this boat sitting out of the water and why? I don't think we explained that, right? So there are locks here, and at this moment the water is low, and this is actually how this boat is able to do this for months at a time. So the owners are using it half of the time. They come in and take it to the Bahamas for 6 months, and then they're gone for 6 months. They just lock it up, turn the ACs on, and walk away. Everything's closed except for one throw hole.
Yep.
Yeah, which is really impressive
discharge.
because
Yeah.
that is typically the issue is you do have all these through holes open, and whenever the water's circulating through, that's growth. So now that's just less holes, less salt water, always a good thing.
And every through hole on a boat is a potential failure point.
Yeah.
Where, you know, if a hose clamp breaks or everything should be double clamped anyways, but a hose bursts or something, that's how you sink your boat, right?
Yeah.
Like you get the salt water in, bilge pumps can't keep up anymore, boat is sinking. This will not happen with this. Another thing you guys were asking us when you gave us kind of like the list, what was important to you was serviceability.
Yeah.
So now a
Anybody.
marine air condition, if you're really, really remote somewhere and there's no marine tech whatsoever and no marine store whatsoever, you probably have an issue. You got to troubleshoot yourself. You got to try to find the parts somewhere. With this, any island remote air conditioned tech can help you out.
Yeah.
And the worst case scenario, you just get a new AC, crane it over here with your crane, and
Yep.
done.
Yeah.
Just done.
That seems to be like the theme of this boat is
Yeah.
that everything in here is sort of like residential, so it's
Yes.
no longer, you're not shoehorned into marine
Home Depot versus
Yeah.
like West Marine,
Go to
you know?
any hardware store.
Yeah.
You can go pick up any household, whatever, and it's gonna work. So there
Yeah.
is, I get it. It's convenience, practical. I totally understand why they've done it that way.
All right, what else we got here?
Another massive storage
Yeah.
box. How
All
many?
4 of us can fit in here. Seriously.
Cold plunge. I
Cold
don't know.
plunge.
Yes.
I think you're onto something.
I like it.
When you're in Alaska or Patagonia,
Yes.
you just pick up an iceberg and you set it
Yeah.
inside. You're ready to go.
I like
Yep.
it.
Yeah.
So of course we have the tender lift. You have 1,500 pound capacity with the lift. This is nothing actually for the lift here.
Okay, ready to see the staterooms?
I would like to go to Alaska with these guys on this boat and stand up here, do some whale watching. Wow, look at this view.
There's also solar panels. A lot of solar panels.
So there's 5 LG solar panels here, and he said that basically keeps them, when they're on anchor, fully topped up, except for running the oven and the stove or the air conditioner. They run the generator for an average of about 1 to 2 hours a day, he said. That's when they do all their cooking. They run the AC while they're doing that, and they're good for an entire 22 hours after that. Top floor. Middle floor.
Hey, Jason,
Yep.
you're gonna come in. Victoria,
Coming in now.
Oh,
This is the galley floor. Okay. Next one.
Next one deck down.
And
We do have a day head here if you want to peek in there.
ahead. Don't need to spend much time in here because there's no shower. Whoa, mirrors. Mirrors everywhere. Mirrors. on the ceiling. So sexy. Hey.
Yeah, you don't like to look at yourself while you're in the restroom? Okay, and on this side, we have a double cabin, twin cabin, 2 beds. These are good size actually. They're not too small.
Wow, it's so much brighter in here than the bathroom.
2 portholes, you can actually open them. And then where you are is the sink. And on this side, we have a head and a shower. Nikki!
I think
How many
it's
person
only
shower is this?
that's
I
a
mean-
1 person.
Oof.
That's a
Yeah.
1 person. Yeah.
I'm gonna say it's a 1-person shower.
It's a 1-person shower.
Although 2 of us are in here, but it is a 1-person shower.
You're not doing much with, yeah, you're kind of leaving
Okay.
it up. But the sink's out here, that's kind of cool.
Yeah, I like that a lot. On our old boat, we had that. The sink was out.
Yeah.
And it was actually really nice to get ready. You were like not in each other's space. I like that feature personally.
Yeah, and you can use the toilet or the shower, but still use this space.
Correct. And this is a pocket door in here.
Dig it.
And you've got your wardrobe hanging locker here. And walking into the owner's suite.
Yes, huge closet. Huge closet. You can have a his and hers. Check it out. So much space. Okay. Come on.
You need a book or something.
Nice, Rico, looking comfy.
Welcome to my owner's suite.
It's a GoPro 9. You should read it.
Oh, it's brand new.
Yeah.
King size bed.
I mean,
King size.
It's huge. Again,
Tons of room all the way around.
This whole area is your home office, which is really nice to have an extra space. Me personally, I probably would add more storage to here and then have the add another space in the salon because it's completely like blank canvas. You can do anything you want there. Maybe add like a desk there so you have 2 separate spaces. You can take phone call or you know.
Well, actually, don't you know these spaces all around the US that popped up like 10, 15 years ago where they have this shared office space where you can do this as a business. You know?
office down here, a couple up there, one in the pilot house.
Check out the
co-working
ensuite.
space.
It's
yeah.
big.
Yeah, I mean, and more storage. You just, I don't even know what you would do with all
There's
of
no
this.
lack of storage.
Yeah, you can almost just split this and make it into 2 cabins. I don't know, but yeah, this would
That's
be.
a 3-person shower, guys.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
I didn't
you're
catch
right.
that.
I think you're right. 3-person shower it
Proper
is.
3-person shower.
Look, he's volunteering. Don't I have to ask?
Wow.
Yeah.
Even Jason could still fit in if we take that chair out.
I'll just sit and watch.
This is,
Because
Alright.
the toilet's right there.
Oh God. No. I think they might be worse than us. Could it be? Okay, but there's another feature here that you guys haven't seen yet.
That being said, I would add a little coffee maker down here.
Oh, yeah. And a beer fridge.
For
Okay,
the, for the morning
okay.
beer? No.
How cute is this for your
Okay,
coffee
after
in the
you guys.
morning?
It's raining.
it's raining.
Oh.
But you would never know it. You're only by looking at the water because you're covered here.
It's like your
Yes.
own little Juliet balcony. It's so cute, and this was an extension that the current owner did to make the space more usable. They're into swimming and diving. There's a super safe swim ladder right here, and it extends your space. It's quite nice. Without it, I think it makes it difficult. You know, like what would you do? You would have to have like just a straight down ladder.
Yeah.
This is really nice upgrade that they've done.
I also feel like for getting on and off the tender, this is really nice. So it would make offloading groceries or supplies or people coming up. This is definitely a nice little platform, but also just like a cute little personal balcony.
Yeah, I would have 2 like cute chairs here, maybe even high chairs so you can have the view.
Oh, but look, he's got all of his dive tank storage here.
True, because he's a diver, yeah, which
Yeah.
you could do as well.
Yeah.
Yeah, for sure. But there's a lot of room.
Yes.
This goes up to the mid-level, the aft cockpit. What was it called?
Yeah.
Hey guys, I just really want to know, when are we going to get to the poop deck?
You were on the poop deck.
Was I?
Yeah, the boat deck was the poop deck.
Oh, damn it, I didn't know it.
But this could be a poop deck too.
Yeah, totally.
Yeah.
Totally.
You get more than
But-
if you buy this boat, you get more than one poop deck.
You can put your compostable
And-
toilet right there, and this could be a poop deck.
But, if you guys think this was it, no. Let's go all the way forward. There's more.
Oh yeah, that's right.
Oh god, but wait, there's more.
But wait, there's more. If you call now.
Ta-da! Which of course can also be an overflow cabin, and don't forget check out the head right here, and
Okay.
we'll see you in the laundry room.
because there's a room for that. This is a whole nother guest cabin or crew quarters as they call it, but you got 2 individual beds and its own ensuite with a probably 1-person shower again, but a nice little sink, toilet, everything you need. And then right out of the crew,
Welcome to the laundry room.
This is, again,
Have you ever had
very
something like
different.
this on your boat? No, this is a treat. Yeah, so you have a proper air-conditioned, really nice laundry room. Then look, you have large.
2 freezers.
Yeah, I mean, obviously you can do anything you want here, but how cool is that?
this you would normally not find on the boat.
Because this is part of the AC.
Exactly.
It's funny, we've gone down, but it's like being in the attic of a house.
Yeah.
It is. It is. And instead of having filters on every single air handler throughout the boat, you just have home air conditioning.
Very easy to find, very easy to
Just one.
replace.
Just one filter.
Yeah.
Just one filter.
Yeah. All right,
And then into the
with Rico's initials, which now I think maybe he is the real ship.
I'm the real shit.
Rico is the real shit.
Welcome
Okay.
to the engine room.
Like proper.
Rico wants to buy the boat just for this, and so
Yes.
that they can continually use the
My initials.
real ship.
I mean, how cool are those initials on the bow? That's beautiful.
Yeah, yeah.
Really
I
pretty.
gotta take a picture of that
Yeah.
actually.
Go.
Okay.
okay.
Wow.
So this is again, I feel like we're more in like super yacht territory than
It is.
small boat territory, which is really crazy.
There's a whiteboard, a proper whiteboard.
All change, respect.
Respect.
Props. Big props.
Yeah.
You know what that is?
Those are part numbers.
These are part numbers. For everything. Wow.
Jason, you're probably loving this right now. Jason is a label making mofo, let me tell you.
Oh, you are that guy.
Oh, he is so that guy. He'd label everything if I would let him. Not that I'm going to complain, because it is very handy. I love your organization.
He has like a huge grin on his face right now, you guys. Like a huge grin.
Yeah, but like everything being labeled appropriately so that it's very easy to understand what you're looking at. That's Jason's jam. Mine too, but I know that you're appreciating it from behind the camera.
Quick explanation what's going on here. This box over there is quite unique for a vessel of this size. This is actually a sea chest. Instead of having multiple sea cocks and then sea strainers, everything comes in at one central point. The cool thing is you have this, you see the valve on top there? You can put some high pressure, air pressure on it and blow it out if ever you would suck in like a huge bag or you know something.
Jellyfish or
Yeah,
anything that
exactly,
can clog it up,
exactly. You can
yeah.
actually blow it out.
Cool, so where's the air compressor?
I can see it right there. It says
Oh,
It is right over there.
Nikita Quiet Series.
Oh yeah!
You're right.
I was being facetious, but there really
Another
is one.
very interesting thing, I don't know if you guys noticed, but the engines are pretty far forward actually.
Yeah.
So the galley starts here. We're pretty much sitting under the galley, and then look how long the shafts are.
Yeah, really long.
Really, really long. And then I can see the shaft seals. That's where it actually gets out of the boat. Well,
Somehow, Rico, who is probably the most
Naughty.
naughty out of the 4. No.
Oh,
No.
Continue.
yeah.
Big balls and long shafts.
Real long shaft. Real long shaft. Yeah, and the big bolts up.
Oh, there he goes.
Okay, there we
Okay,
go.
too late now. You
Anyways.
missed the joke. You missed the joke.
Caterpillar main engines, we already talked about it. Pretty bulletproof. I know one side has been rebuilt. I forgot which side it was.
Port side,
Port side.
I believe.
I think this one has been rebuilt. This one has had some extensive upgrades done to them, even though they're pretty low hour still. Then we do have a manifold right here on top for the
It's everything.
it's all water.
It's like it's
water
all
manifold.
water.
Yeah.
So I said this on our tour, the first tour that we did today, and I'm going to go ahead and repeat it now because it's overwhelming, not overwhelming, coming into this space because everything's a little bit bigger and you have all the similar systems on any of the sailboats that we've had, but there's a few more and they're just a lot bigger and they're all in one space. Normally you'd have like the water maker in one place, you'd have an air conditioner over here, an air conditioner over there, one engine over on this hole, engine over on that hole. So it's so spread out, you don't see it all at once. And here you see everything all at once and it seems like maybe it's more and it's more overwhelming and going to be more to maintain. But I think practically and realistically, that's one of my big questions is like, how much more maintenance is this or is it just in my head? I don't know.
No, because essentially you still have a water maker, you still have a generator. Okay, in this case you have 2 generators, which essentially is the same maintenance because you have the redundancy, you can switch from one to another, so you're extending actually your service interval because you get less hours on each generator, but also if one has a major problem, you have the same parts for them, so you can also cannibalize if you ever had to, at least keep one running. So I like the redundancy of having 2 generators, and what I really like is the space like you just mentioned. This is a lot bigger than on most sailing vessels, so doing service becomes a lot easier. And then another thing, I don't know if you notice it or not, but it's pretty cool in here.
Yeah. It's air
conditioned. It's air conditioned, and if you look to the outside wall, it's foam sprayed, so it's really well insulated. So even if the seawater is really warm, like in the Caribbean, you don't get the heat in here so much.
And you still have a really nice workshop here.
I have one question, and again, it has to do with poop, because I was quite excited about the poop thingy that they have.
I assume you're referring to the black and gray water treatment?
Yes.
Yeah.
Actually, in this case, it's just black water treatment. Yes, in the most of the parts of the Caribbean and the United States, when you offshore, you can just have the black water run overboard. This vessel has a black water treatment plant. It gets treated, and you actually pump clear water overboard. So all the toilets are plumbed into this. Actually, the forward one goes into a black water tank, and from the tank gets pumped to the sewage treatment plant.
We're gonna have one on our boat, and we went in a deep dive understanding the difference between different kinds. And something to keep in mind, not all are equal, as you always like to say. Some of them do not have certification to really dump overboard in certain areas. So like the one we're getting, which is Headhunter, and this one is certified by Coast Guard, so you could dump overboard, and it is literally clean water going overboard out of your toilet. So it is impressive.
It's all just wastewater treatment. Cities use them, right? But big ships will use them. It's very hard to get something like that integrated into a smaller vessel like our sailboats. So unfortunately, we've never had access to something like that. But once we learned that they were available, we're thinking, oh my gosh, this is fantastic, right? Because now you're not pumping anything sketchy overboard. You're processing all of your water, so you're making sure that everything's nice and clean. And that is why Jason was so excited about the poop thing. We're like, wow, it's a big step in a world where you're trying to enjoy the environment that's around you, but without destroying it at the same exact time, right? We're heading out of here, going up. All right.
How can we help you?
Now, onto the real ship.
Yes.
Onto the real ship. All right, so realistically, do you think that this vessel would be capable of doing the Alaska to Patagonia adventure?
Range-wise, yes.
Okay.
Seaworthiness-wise, I'd like to go on a sea trial.
Yeah, which you would do with any boat, but I'm with you on that. Like, it feels like tall-wise.
Yeah.
So
It's also very heavy.
I mean, I feel like it's definitely going to be a great boat for the Bahamas because of the draft, so it's perfect for that. Like, somebody wants to spend 6 months in the Bahamas, great. Alaska, first of all, you got to get the boat there. It's a long journey. I'm with Rico. Like, for this, I would want to go out and feel it out. I think that would be really important.
I mean, keep in mind, there's a lot of heavy equipment, super down low. Like the engine room, main engine sitting literally on the bottom of the vessel. Your fuel tanks, your water tanks, all this heavy stuff is really, really, really low.
I mean, a lot of people think that about, our boat we're building as well, that it's very top heavy. It's built to a class, so it's not.
It's made to do it.
Yeah, it's made to do it.
In general, full displacement vessels are usually really tall looking compared to semi-displacement boats. So it's initially you walk up to it, you're like, ooh, this looks unusual. Is that stable? That's a lot of times you get the question, right? I think this boat could be very stable, but I, again, like to go on a sea trial, see how it actually handles.
Okay. And then thinking on the big elephant in the room for us, which is we're used to a sailboat, and sailing is our main mode of propulsion. Now, granted, sails are not free. Sails, rigging, the mast, all of that costs a lot of money, and you do have to replace it after every so many thousands of miles or years. Not the mast per se, but fuel. Fuel also is going to cost more on this. So I'm just trying to get, and I know you haven't been on this boat, so you can't tell me exactly how many gallons per hour it's burning, but even just in a general sense, if I'm going to do a 20, like let's just do like a 2,000 nautical mile trip or something, is that something we can sort of guesstimate on?
I used to have the same thinking way back then, where I was like, oh my god, fuel is the biggest expense, and it's actually not. Fuel, if you look at all your boat expenses per year, fuel is maybe number 6 or 7.
Okay.
There's dockage, there's insurance, there's so many other maintenance, so many other cost factors which are way above fuel. And going with a full displacement, slow moving vessel like this one, it's not that bad. Yes, you're going to spend some money on a 2,000 mile trip, but you're not doing a 2,000 mile trip every time you're moving. That's just really like a relocation pretty much, right? So yes.
Even the average sailor. I mean, we honestly, most years you're doing anywhere from 2 to maybe 6,000 nautical miles, and it just depends on the body of water you were having to jump and how far you had to go. So it's not, yes, like you said, it takes us the entire year to do that many
with
nautical
the
miles.
fuel capacity of this vessel, if you're not really doing like a 3,000-4,000 mile trip, then yes, you're probably going to go through a majority of your fuel tank and you will have to replenish it. But if you just do normal trips, 200 miles here, 200 miles there, and island hopping in between, you're probably going to not even fuel up for a whole year, potentially, depending how you're cruising. So capacity is so high. And also, you don't want to have the fuel get too old, because then you got algae buildup and all that kind of stuff. You do fuel polishing, but still, like, you want to go through your fuel at some point, or don't fill it up all the way. My advice would be not looking at it as the big, oh my god, that's like the downfall of our existence. It's actually not that bad. It's not the biggest expense.
Well, the big thing to factor in is also the directions and the time it takes you to get somewhere. If you are under sail, you don't have the fuel expense, but you are potentially taking sometimes twice the amount of time to get somewhere, because you cannot just go straight to where you need to go. So if you have the right boat that can do well in any weather, you can go from point A to point B direct. So you're getting there a lot quicker. So technically you're not burning as much fuel as you would think how long it took you to get somewhere on a sailboat.
I was holding that back as long as I could. Okay, now that I've had my little coughing fit, I'm going to swap because Jason has a very good question that he wants to ask.
The future
Yes.
is now.
Yes.
So I want to talk about kites quickly, just like on a broad sense, because I know there's like this trimaran going around the world right now trying to break a speed record with a kite. So I think kites are really interesting. I think hybrid, we've seen at the Met show, like the bolt-on, it's more like a generator, I guess, generator replacement for a diesel engine like that for bigger ships. And then also props, because I know Sharo, because they make the weird, crazy-looking prop that's supposed to be way more efficient.
Toroidal prop.
Tell me, are those actually real? You're seeing that happening a lot more on boats like this?
Oh, you're talking to the right people right now. To the right people.
I hope your audience has a lot of time.
No, come on.
No, okay. Kites, I find it very interesting. We have seen a kite on a power catamaran before. It's a fairly small setup, actually, on the bow, and it's completely self-contained. It launches almost itself. I mean, you have to put it together, but it launches itself. It directs itself. It does like figure 8, like figures. Yeah. Figure 8 figures. And actually helps you to save fuel. So you probably gain like 2 to 3 knots, I believe it was, right? To your regular boat speed.
That's the conversation.
But now 2 to 3 knots, if you think of combustion engines and you're under power, 2 to 3 knots may probably get you to go down almost to idle speed on these engines, on this boat, for example, here, and you still would do your 7-8 knots cruising speed. So that's a huge difference.
Your range, more than doubles.
Let's say your fuel consumption was somewhere between 6 to 8 gallons an hour. You're dropping it immediately down to 2 to 3 gallons an hour. So that's a massive saving for long range. Yeah. It wouldn't make any sense for little island hopping. That would be overkill. I think it would be more hassle to actually launch it than to use it. There's hybrid, of course. There's serial hybrid, parallel hybrid. To go into this is a huge subject, so maybe not going too much into it.
Very expensive for a refit, right?
Very expensive for a refit because you would have to change out most of the equipment. But there are bolt-on electric motors, which are technically not an electric motor. It's just a generator on your main engine. So no matter where you're going, if you have a lithium-ion house bank, you have these generators or oversized alternators, pretty much. You will charge up your house bank while you're going with the main engines. Don't need to run the generator at all. This boat can also run without generator. You know, solar panels, you have a fairly big house bank to power all your electronics, everything you need to go, and you have your alternators powering that as well while you're underway. So it's kind of cool. You don't need to really start your generators either.
Yeah, so that could be a cool thing. And then the Sharo,
so toroidal propellers.
So there are also multiple aspects to that, because on our boat, as an example, we went with...
You're actually wearing the right hat at the moment. It's
Yeah.
just the gyro. Take away the gyro,
Okay.
but yeah,
is that the company that makes it?
So we did this whole video. We went to the manufacturer down in Australia called V Marine. They make their own propellers, and they're CNC machined. They're super accurate and very efficient because they are so accurate. So very little
Traditional
cavitation.
props.
Traditional props with that slide and strip where you can change your pitch. You guys want to do some inland water cruising, right?
Yeah.
Where the salinity is completely different than in the ocean. So you will sit either deeper or higher out of the water, depending where you are. Higher salinity,
Higher
the
up.
more you float, less salinity, the deeper you sit in the water. So you don't have to pull your props and change pitch and all this kind of stuff. If you still want to be super efficient, you can just slide in a different strip, an interceptor strip on each
the
blade.
diver can do it. You can do it.
I mean, you guys do free diving, whatever.
They have a special tool, and it just comes out.
It
and
comes
you put
right out, goes
put it
right back in.
Yeah.
So that way you can be really efficient with your propellers. Now, like you said, you have the toroidal prop. So I think, not I think,
When
I know.
we know.
Yeah, we know. Sharo is the one who does it for outboard applications, outboard driven applications, or outboard engines. And Sharo and V Marine doing a collaboration.
All the props that you see that are
Inboard driven.
Yeah, those are the ones I saw
Yeah.
on Met.
So they don't have a blade end, they're actually folding back over, and you have less cavitation, more efficiency. We got some real life data from a Bering Marine hydrofoil assist catamaran. They have outboards on them with the Sharo props, and at a certain RPM point, they were 40% more efficient than the traditional propeller. 40%!
Yeah.
That's crazy.
What does that mean? Like, does that 40% fuel savings or just 40% efficiency?
Let's say I do 20 knots speed. Now, if that's the speed where it was 40% more efficient, I can drop my RPM down by 40% and still do 20 knots compared to the conventional.
Next.
It's contagious! I'm so sorry.
It's not available yet.
We don't have a boat yet.
You don't have a boat yet, so you're still good. But so there are so many ways now to make a conventional trawler more efficient and green and you know, easier on the pocket than it ever used to be.
I think it's like the next 2 years are going to be pivotal for the, you know, slower boats, for the efficient boats, because it's such an interesting time. You have all these different things that could be implemented, and within a year, like, there will be enough tests done to see what the toroidals are doing. We're hoping to be a subject.
A test rabbit.
We volunteered to be a test rabbit. So at this moment, you know, we have the conventional Vim props that are very efficient, but we're really like looking forward to, because if it's even half of that of what we've seen on the performance side, it is a game changer. It's massive savings. All of a sudden, you're really competing with the sailing vessels.
I can't let that go. She said, finally, we'll be really competing with the sailing vessels. So see, it's a competition.
What I'm trying to say is that it's not gonna really matter. The sailing will always stay as a art form.
Yeah.
It's something that is, you know, people.
It's also like a nostalgic thing, you know.
Yeah, it will always be there, but I feel like as a necessity for a long, let's not say world cruising, but long range cruising, I feel like it will go away. Like, you will get your choice. Do you want to sail or do you want to power? And they're going to be, financially, they're going to be the same. Like, they're, you know, already, like you said, you have to really crunch the numbers and see what that adds up to, what you're spending on the sales and on the maintenance. But it just gets closer and closer for many more other vessels, not just like specific vessels that are already efficient enough.
Of course, retrofitting, which that comes in handy for you guys. Now you not necessarily have to look for a boat which is no older than 2-3 years, which maybe has already a lithium-ion battery bank and has all the solar on top. You can actually look for a little bit older vessel and easily retrofit it.
Character.
Yeah, well, you just need to find the space for the batteries, for the lithium-ion batteries, for the inverter, a little bit of cabling, and solar panels.
Yeah.
But then you can do exactly what you had kind of before, where you're on battery power for your house bank. Even do your cooking with an induction cooktop. You wouldn't run your air conditioner on it because that really requires a quite large battery bank. But for everything else, you have to use a generator anymore. Especially if you cruise in Alaska, whatever, where it's cooler, you don't need to run the air condition non-stop
You get a
like
diesel
in the
heater and
Caribbean.
you're good. Yeah.
You're perfectly fine.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well,
Thanks,
can I
guys.
ask you guys a question?
Ha.
So, okay, you've seen 2 vessels, like HGTV style here. What is your feedback in terms of what you're thinking, and what should we show you next?
I'm still really excited to go see the Downeaster style that you sent us. The ones that are single level yachts. They look really classic. I kind of think that could be a great Bahamas boat as well.
Yeah.
Probably not an Alaska boat. So
Yeah, that's sort of been the problem here all along, is there's too many options. So you almost have to pick the adventure first, then find the vessel for that adventure. And we've been so open that we're like, well, maybe we find the adventure, or maybe we find the vessel, and that determines the adventure.
Chicken or the egg?
Right, which comes first. So I think at some point, either the boat's going to call out to us, and it's like, even this, I'm like, there's a lot of potential here. You can
and
do a lot
the
of things.
photos of this boat. Like, I think about the videography and the photography. I'm like, it's got pizzazz.
That's
And
not how you buy a boat.
we could
No.
do it. We could do it for maybe a little while, but I think it might be more limited for the super long stuff.
Yeah, so it's just there's too many directions to go. But I like what I've seen today. It's sort of been eye-opening. It's less daunting than I thought it would be.
Got my brain going.
It's got my brain going. It's very hard still to think about not having sails. That I'm so used to it being an activity and a sport in itself, and I'm used to just thinking in those terms.
Yeah.
So it's just a mind shift.
But if we didn't have sails to deal with, then we could probably edit more videos.
Very true.
Ooh.
And we could spend a lot more time like hiking glaciers or something,
Yeah,
and
yeah.
playing with penguins. Just saying.
Put in the comments, more videos or more sales?
Thanks, guys, for joining us for this. Thank you, guys.
Yes, thank you both for your time today.
More than welcome.
Yeah, it's been such a learning experience. We've had so many off-camera conversations.
I am looking forward to the next ones because I know we have a long list that we went through. So.
Yeah, and maybe some that aren't, here. Maybe they're across a pond somewhere else, and that's where the adventure starts.
You're inviting us to a treble?
Yeah.
Yeah, not paying
I don't
for
know if
your
we can pay for first class flights. These guys are
Can't afford
bougie.
you to. Yeah.
That's true. He's a diva.
Yeah, I am.
Rico only goes business these days. I'm like, well, see you in economy.
Yeah. Oh my gosh. Make
right.
sure and check out Rico and Victoria's video that we
Yes.
did on the Defever. It was quite
It's a very
interesting as
different
well.
vessel. Totally, yeah. Just
leave it at
different.
that.
Yep. All right. See you in the next one. Thank you. Bye.